Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Buckeye Weekly Podcast. I'm Tony Gerdeman here, as always, with Tom Orr. Tom, how's it going?
Well, Tony, it is a road game. It is our third road game in 4 weeks, right?
Uh-huh.
So it is a typical road game. They always talk about the home field advantage being worth 3 points. I think the home field advantage with the internet speed that we can rely on in Columbus that is not always present on the road, but we are going to do our best and kind of figure it out as we go.
Yeah, if there are any complaints, send them to Tom or just put them in the comments. We're going to do our best. We think we're okay.
Yeah, it's if you have any questions or comments, especially negative ones, please send them to me, Kevin Noon at Buckeye Huddle. No.
And of course, we will take your questions and your super chats as we await the team arrival, which is roughly 17-ish, 20-ish minutes away here at an undisclosed location in an undisclosed state somewhere in the Midwest of some portion of a country.
I can tell you it is east of Minnesota,
okay,
north of Illinois,
all right,
and south of Canada.
There you go, south of Canada, maybe. I don't know. We drove a long ways today, but welcome you all in. And Tom, I have not spent a lot of time watching Wisconsin since the Michigan-Wisconsin game. So to me, this is one of those, you know how Ryan Day says, it's about us.
Mm-hmm.
It's not about us. It's about Ohio State, and that's kind of where I want to start today because this is a Wisconsin defense that has given up roughly 200 yards rushing in the last 2 games. Ohio State has had roughly 200 yards rushing maybe in the last 3 games. And so I am very interested in seeing how they do on the ground in this game. And I'm wondering, is there a target that they need to hit, or do they just Ryan Day is convinced that everything is fine.
Right.
So I don't know what kind of target he's looking for. He's looking for 3 yards on 3rd and 2, and he's happy. 2 yards on 3rd and 2, and he's happy. Mm-hmm. We're looking for 180 yards. Wouldn't that be nice?
To me, I feel like the barometer is almost just, does Ryan Day seem concerned? Because if Ryan Day is concerned, I mean, Ryan Day is concerned all the time, right? They win by 40 points, and Ryan Day says it's not good enough and they need to get better. So the fact that Ryan Day is not concerned is kind of instructive to me that they haven't taken the wraps fully off the offense. And, I talked to Ross Fulton earlier in the week, and they're not doing the P portion of the RPO plays quite often, and, in a way that's pretty obviously intentional. And the thing that's difficult about trying to put a number on this is, of the 4 units, Wisconsin's run defense, pass defense, Wisconsin's run offense, pass offense, Wisconsin's run defense is the best of the 4 by miles. So this is a game where Ohio State can probably just rely on Ohio State's defense to get a bunch of 3-and-outs and get the ball at midfield and just be able to kind of do what they. Well, yeah, we saw that did not always work last week, but
short fields are bad news, man.
But Ohio State should be able to throw when they want to throw. Running the ball is probably almost the biggest challenge, which then the more I'm talking about this, the more I'm thinking this seems exactly like the kind of day where Ryan Day is going to go, well, we're going to get better at this because you're going to win the game. Like, you're going to win the game no matter what. It'll be fine. But they're going to have to, this is an opportunity to get some reps against a solid run defense where, if the game's close in the 3rd quarter, they know they can just throw a couple touchdowns, get a couple get a couple turnovers, whatever it is. So this is one where they may just kind of bang their heads against the wall and just try and use those reps to try and improve rather than trying to run up a score.
Seeing Jordan Kapler here asking about the bold predictions where I went with 170 yards rushing, 340 yards passing. What would it mean if Ohio State went 340 yards rushing and 170 passing?
It would mean that Ryan Day was trying to prove a point and proved it. And so,
yes. Yeah. Unfortunately for Wisconsin, yes, they would have proved it. Although then you've got to do it again. Then you've done it. Now you've got to prove it. And I don't expect that to happen. I think that's one you save that one for Michigan. If you're going to put 340 yards rushing on the ground, you save that one for the team up north.
Well, and when we finished that show, I thought that was dumb. I shouldn't have changed it because 220, I think it's much less likely that they run for 220 yards than they pass for 340 yards. I think maybe running for 220 yards would require them, and maybe even running for 170 yards would require them running the ball 35 times, which would limit the amount of passing. So that would probably, I mean, I think it's not particularly likely to hit in either direction, but you could see them. You rip off one long run, you rip off an 80-yard touchdown, and then you just kind of run the ball okay the rest of the day, and you throw quite a bit. You could hit 170, 340.
I figure with 170, you shouldn't need a home run. This team right now may need a 40-yarder to juice the numbers there.
Mm-hmm. Do we want to get to some questions? I see some good ones. Or do we want to? Okay.
Yeah.
We're
here for the people.
We are here for the people. We are always here for Sue. Sue wants to know who is on the cot of shame. It would be me. Tony picked his, for his one win of the season. He picked a good time to do it right before a road game. We got an email on Monday. Surprise, the hotel you booked in January is under construction and not ready. So you're going somewhere else. So we were not planning on having a cot of shame this weekend, but it will be the pull-out couch of shame. And rest assured, I will feel shame.
Yeah, and rest assured, the shame is the most important aspect of that. Thank you for asking that question. Sue, hope you're doing very, very well.
All right. Todd says, tuning in from France, picture and audio are fine. And just, I threw this in the comments earlier. The internet, je m'appelle. The internet here is a little wonky. Like we're getting wildly different speeds if we move 5 feet one direction or another. So we're going to take this. We're going to do what we can with this. The team is scheduled to arrive in about 10 minutes. What we're going to do is we're going to take this laptop and we're just going to run it over there and we're going to try and do it quick and dirty. It's going to be a little weird, but we're going to figure it out. Byron Carter says, respect to us for keeping the outsiders tapped in with the team. Thank you. We're happy to do it. Happy to be here. Ed Rogers wants to know if we should expect rain tomorrow. The forecast looks like it's gotten better.
Yeah, it looks like it'll wait until after the game and into the evening. I just needed to wait until after we walk to the car. And then also we've got to drive a little bit of a ways after the game. So I would like to let us get to the hotel. Then you can do whatever you want. And, relatively.
Sue also said earlier, lurking while trying to scrounge up something for dinner. Would appreciate if we could keep her entertained. That is always the goal. Yeah. Job one. For the football team, job one is win the game. For us, job one is keep Sue entertained. Yeah. We do what we can.
Ryan Day is only worried about efficiency and winning. We are only worried about Sue and keeping her happy.
Jordan wants to know if it would be fair to say that the internet is a bit curdled.
Well, as you guys know, whenever we're live on location, we never necessarily know what we're going to run into, even when we're back at the same place we were a couple of years ago. But we try to do our best. We know you guys are patient. We appreciate that. But you also appreciate us, and we appreciate
more than anything else. We appreciate that. Todd wants to know any update on Bo's ankle. Bo Jackson, I saw him on Wednesday. He was not wrapped. He didn't have a brace. He looked fine. I don't think that's a real concern.
Yeah, good to go.
Tiff wants to know, do we think Luke Fickell will get fired soon? Wisconsin not doing too well.
We were just talking about that, Tom. Give them the quarterback stat that you gave me, because you cannot fire a guy for this. Like, yes, things are not good, and you lose 37-0 to Iowa. That's bad. The things that are happening at Wisconsin are completely out of Luke Fickell's control.
Yeah, and this is a of what's happening at Wisconsin, but this is a stat from Pete Thamel. Says this is the third straight start for Hunter Simmons, who is the number 3 quarterback. His stats last week, we'll get to them later. Hide your eyes. Don't let the children watch or listen. But here's another stat that's going to kind of curl your hair. In just 11 of the 31 games during Luke Fickell's 3 full seasons, has the team's intended starter both played and stayed healthy for the entire game. They have just – Danny O'Neill was the projected starter, and then they had Billy Edwards, and
Billy Edwards was the original starter.
Billy was the original starter.
Maryland.
Then Danny O'Neill, and then now Hunter Simmons. Hunter Simmons, the stats last week were grim. I mean, like real grim. On the whole, on the season, his completion percentage is 43.75% for 135 yards, no touchdowns, they list him as no interceptions, but that's not accurate. Sorry, 3 interceptions. Yes. So, and sorry, that was the thing jumped. Sorry, 55.93%, 1 touchdown, 3 picks for Hunter Simmons. But last week he was, I think, about 33% completions for about 3.9 yards per attempt and no touchdowns and 2 picks, which that's not going to get it done. 82 yards passing on 20-something attempts is not going to get it done against Ohio State tomorrow.
How many times has he had a quarterback that he can win with in his entire head coaching career? Going back to Ohio State, where he had Joe Bosman and a true freshman, Braxton Miller. The best he's had with Desmond Ridder was that his quarterback at UC?
Yeah, at UC, yeah.
And then, they bring in legitimate transfers from other places that had been successful.
Mm-hmm.
Tyler Van Dyke at Miami, Billy Edwards, who threw for 3,000 yards last year at Maryland.
Mm-hmm.
And then they get to Wisconsin, and the place is cursed. And maybe that is Luke Fickell's fault. Maybe you have to get rid of him to break this curse. But I don't know that anybody else coming in is going to be able to win with these quarterbacks. How many points is Ohio State scoring against Iowa with Tavian St. Clair, the number 3 quarterback, as their quarterback?
Yeah, I mean, more than 0, but less than 20 probably. And I think there's some bigger systemic issues at Wisconsin right now as well, where when Brett Bielema left Wisconsin, it was because Wisconsin was being cheap and would not pay an assistant coach pool to the level that pretty much every other Big Ten school was. Wisconsin's going to the Rose Bowl, and they still have one of the smallest assistant coach pools in the conference. Fast forward 15 years or so, they're running into some of the same financial limitations as they had then, now with NIL, where the roster is just not very good. And a lot of that has to do with the fact that they don't have the resources that some of the other schools in the league have. And I think their school NIL, house settlement NIL right now it's the same amount as everyone else.
Right.
They're dividing it with basketball, and I'm guessing they probably put some money into hockey and stuff like that. So you're probably at worst even there, but I think it's the other NIL, the outside NIL, where they just haven't been able to kind of weaponize it the way that other schools have.
Well, and contrast that with PJ Fleck, who at Big Ten Media Days, remember he was traveling with two husband and wife booster, longtime boosters, and he's pointing them out to the media, and they're sitting in the audience while he's talking, and he's very engaging. And these are an older couple, and they can handle him. So, it's not too much for them. But, that's what else is going on. Matt Rule, the same way. These are guys that are, engaged with their boosters. And I don't, we know it's been an issue at Wisconsin before. And, Barry Alvarez, it's just I did it. I was able to win.
Right.
Why can't you win?
Right. Yeah. And the college football world hasn't changed at all since 1993. So I don't know what the problem is. Yeah. There are a lot of things working against Luke Fickell, because I think people are looking at this and going, well, obviously he's not going to be able to coach ever again. And it's no, I think there's some bespoke stuff at Wisconsin. But to the point that, to the question that was on there earlier, is he getting fired soon? It is certainly possible, because right after this game, they've got a week off. That is a time when a lot of times you will pull the trigger before the week off. That's what happened with Penn State. Penn State's off this week. They fired James Franklin last week. We'll see. Can they get the money together for the buyout? Because I don't know his exact buyout terms, all that kind of stuff. It's 20-something million, but I don't know one of the real key pieces of understanding buyouts is the payment terms. Is it all due in Jimbo Fisher's was, the enormous one was due in 60 days or 90 days, the whole thing. There are ones where it's due on the payout schedule. So I think James Franklin's is it's going to be $8 million a year for the next 5 years or 6 years or whatever it is, but it's $8 million a year. And then if he gets another job, that gets offset. And so it's less money. So if it's all due in one big lump sum where you have to just give him a bag with a dollar sign on it, that's a whole different ball of wax than if you just have to pay him his salary each additional year.
I think Billy Napier's, I heard today, was, half of it is due within 30 days. But again, and then also a lot of these guys, you have to, part of the terms are you have to look for a job. You can't just sit tight. Like Thad Matta, when Gene Smith fired him, was part of those terms of being paid out is you need to look for a job.
Yeah.
That way we can stop paying you out some once you find that job. And took him a while, but sure, I'm looking.
I'm
totally looking, guys.
Jordan Kapler says, can they just let Lincoln get first team reps for Wisconsin? It would benefit both teams. Great idea. I'm not sure you want him behind the Wisconsin offensive line with the Ohio State defense going at him.
All-time quarterback?
Can he wear the black jersey and just Arvell Reese just two-hand taps him going past Otherwise, great idea.
I would like to see Lincoln Keynotes get some first-team reps with the Ohio State offense. I think Jim Tressel was like the last guy to do that at all. It was just understood. Yeah, I don't know if he ever necessarily did it middle of the season when there was no reason to, but during the early portions of the season, you'd see the whole entire second-team offensive line in the game. And while things were still going on, the most famous one is against Texas when the second-team offensive line goes in and they march down the field and score a touchdown. So it's like that's a way to build everybody up. At least they are getting Lincoln Keynotes involved throughout the game, and I would expect to see that again this week as well.
Yep. Adam Baker says Lorenzo Styles back starting or staying with Sanchez starting. Now, we got an update on Edric Houston this week, and that sounded promising that he would return. I don't think we've heard anything definitive one way or the other on Lorenzo Styles.
No, and hopefully we'll have an answer for you. Although, like Ryan Day said after the Illinois game that he expects him back. Yeah. But I don't know that he's given or even been asked this week.
No, I don't think so. We got an update on Edric Houston, like the last question of the Wednesday press conference. If he's not, this is certainly a week where you could absolutely sit anyone who, especially on the defense, anyone who needs another week. This would not be a terrible week to get Devin Sanchez some additional reps.
Yeah. And really, if Lorenzo Styles is still banged up, then it wouldn't hurt. It wouldn't hurt them to play Jermaine Matthews at nickel and Devin Sanchez and Aaron Scott as well outside. Get Bryce West some opportunities in the nickel as well. So 2 years ago they would kind of rest guys just randomly. Guys would just show up random, like get injured in pregame warmups basically, and they'd get a day off. We didn't see too much of that last year. We haven't really seen it this year, but again, if Lorenzo is not 100%, I don't think there's a need to play him. Although he's got a week off next week.
Right, exactly. So the two sides of that coin are one, so you play him this week.
Yep.
The other side is, well, if you give him this week off, then he's got 3 weeks off in a row. So we'll see how they choose to handle it. That availability report will come out a couple hours before the game. We'll have that on the pregame show. I'm looking right now because this is right about when the team is expected to be here.
Heard no sound.
Usually you can hear
the equipment guys are stepping out.
Yeah, the equipment guys are coming out to meet the team. Usually you get police sirens. That's your indication that they're on the way. So we will be listening for those. And when that happens, I'm going to walk, and it maybe not be the most glamorous camera shot in the world, but we'll do what we can.
You're going to look like a 64-year-old dad that is like recording stuff with his iPad.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah.
That's my baby girl.
Butch Jones says, I see a shutout coming tomorrow. Entirely possible. I am the one who tells you never to pick a shutout, and I picked a shutout this week. So Tiff says, does Jeremiah Smith have a chance to win the Heisman Trophy? Feel like the quarterback like Carson Beck has been around forever. I looked at the Heisman odds today. He is fourth in the Heisman odds. So there's kind of three guys that are in the 300s, and then he's the next guy after that. So there's a little bit of a drop-off, but does he have a chance? Yeah, for sure.
Well, and he needs to start turning it on. And Ryan Day can talk all he wants about stats and stats and stats, and it's not about stats. It's about stats. Like, the good thing is everybody recognizes that he's one of the best players in the nation, but he was on a second-team All-American list because of the lack, not producing 110 yards receiving a game. So I do think he needs to kick it up to certainly to win. I don't know if he's getting invited at this point. It also depends on how many finalists they are and what the voting looks like.
Right. Yeah. Usually it will be if there's kind of a gap in the voting, whether that's between the third and the fourth guy or the fourth guy and the fifth guy. If three guys are kind of close in points and then there's a big gap, then the cutoff will be between the third and the fourth guy. It just really depends.
It's surprising they wouldn't add more guys to the finalists just because it's a TV product.
Right, exactly, yeah. Sue wants to know, are we as annoyed as she is with the slow motion try to run the ball offense? I think you kind of have to keep in mind that this is a big picture thing where, it feels like the whole season has looked like this. And it's like, but you're only through half of the regular season and maybe 1/3 of the entirety of the season. And where they were at this point of last year, which was like the Nebraska game, give or take, is very much not where they were at the end of the season, both in terms of the lineup they were playing, in terms of the scheme they were running, in terms of the results they were getting. So, and this is, the buses are coming in right now. So We're gonna walk over here. Looks like they are coming to us. Look at that.
Come right to me, super quick.
We're gonna come through here.
First road game of the season like here.
We knew this 4-game stretch that we're gonna have 3 of these, and it felt like it was an opportunity to come together closer as a team, and come together like this. So come together. That's been a positive, but we want to finish this little run off in a big way this game here tomorrow.
Wisconsin in this town, it's a rough game, it's a tough game. How do you deal with them knowing that they're going to be hungry with how the season started?
Yeah, I always say that the team who's the most hungry, desperate, typically wins the game. I challenge our team with that this week. That we have to be hungry. It's a mindset and a mentality.
I think the way to lose a game like this is lack of preparation and how you feel. How do you feel about the way you guys prepared this week?
Well, I mean, the first thing when you look at something like that is, you just go back to what you do for every single game, and it can't change based on your phone. We know that. So it's the same thing. It started on Sunday, then had a great week of practice. Got to take care of the ball on offense, create turnovers in defense, tackle well, start fast, everything that comes with it, and being consistent. So it'll be no different here tomorrow. We know that this is a team that is very well coached and has a great fan base, so we're expecting a great environment. We're going to go from there.
Appreciate it, Coach.
And that is head coach Ryan Day. The Buckeyes have arrived. We're going to take you over here if you want to see the team still getting.
All right, so that was Ryan Day sharing his thoughts on the team's arrival here in Madison. You may have heard Tony ask if Lorenzo was here and good to go, and Ryan either didn't hear him or pretended not to hear him, and it's not unusual to not get an answer on that kind of question on Friday. It's one of those you have to ask, but you kind of aren't exactly expecting an answer because he has always been a little.
He's gotten better, nicer about it.
Yeah,
he's always said the availability report will tell you.
Yeah,
on Saturday morning, Friday night. So
so let's get back to some of the questions. Oh, sorry, I apologize that the Wi-Fi was wonky. We stepped literally 5 feet that way. Like I said earlier, we have been keeping this like on top of a trash can here, and we're trying to keep it in as steady a position as we can because it feels like you go 5 feet that way, and it gets bad, and you go 5 feet that way, and it's fine. In case you missed it, sort of the brief synopsis of the of Day's comments. This is he talked about this road games as an opportunity for them to sort of come together as a team that you used to be in the dorms and not a cell phone in sight, people living their lives, and that has not the case anymore. Now you got guys, they all live in apartments, and in a lot of cases they have their own apartments. So it's not there's 2 of us in our room, and then there's the 2 guys next door, and the 2 guys, I have from my freshman dorm guys, we still get together every year to hang out, and that's not, that's true of some people. As a football player at Ohio State, that's not necessarily true. So when you go on the road, you are kind of in that you're traveling together, you're in the hotel together, and that's true of on a Friday night all the time. But on a road game, extended, so they kind of can make a little bit of extra time together.
And they've got a banquet area ready to go for a team meal and all of that coming together and camaraderie that goes on over the next few hours before they get their bed check at 9:30 or something, and they'll have their movies to watch and things like that. But don't be leaving the room.
Yeah, don't be leaving the room. I will. I'm going to give you guys a quick little sneak peek inside the hotel here. They had they have the rooms around here in this. The rooms around this hotel are named after Great Lakes and neighboring states and lakes around Madison. You know, there's like Manoba or something like that. And that was one of the meeting rooms. There is what the state of Wisconsin does border Lake Michigan, so one of the rooms was the Michigan meeting room, and they had taped that up there. Thought that was just a nice touch there for that inside the team hotel. A little inside look for you guys there.
Always got to keep it real.
Yes, indeed. So let's get a couple more of the comments here. And if you guys have questions, by all means, throw them in there. We'll roll through those real quick. Jaro Happiness says Smith will have to go crazy this next six weeks to get the Heisman. All Beck's got to do is keep winning. I mean, as a wide receiver, the wide receivers who have won over the last 30 years are Devontae Smith, who had put up crazy numbers for Alabama, but also I think had a punt return touchdown or two. You had Desmond Howard in 1991, who was obviously a punt returner. Tim Brown before that was a punt returner. There was another wide receiver I'm forgetting, but it was someone who
Travis Hunter.
Oh, Travis Hunter, who was a wide receiver but also a cornerback who had that kind of two-way thing going for him. So you really kind of have to have people really don't win it as just a wide receiver.
Michael Crabtree did not win it as just a receiver,
Right,
and
yeah.
he probably should have.
Well, and you go through the incredible wide receivers at Ohio State. That Marvin Harrison got to New York. He was 2, I think, in the year that he was a senior or junior, his final season. It's very hard to win it because it's supposed to be for the most outstanding player in college football. It is for the best quarterback on a top 10 team who, people didn't get bored of too early in the season.
It just used to be a receiver just catching the ball couldn't do it. Because
Right.
if you go look at Tim Brown's receiving yards from 1988, and I think it's about 560 or so.
Yeah, right. It's
So
just
it's about everything else that he did. Also, he played for Notre Dame.
right. Yeah,
that
yeah.
helped.
So you're saying Jeremiah Smith made a mistake not going to
I'm
Notre
not
Dame?
saying that. This college football is saying that. I don't think he needs to go crazy for all 6 games, just like the last 3. Just
Yeah, well, it's such a narrative
fast.
award. It's such a
Yeah.
narrative award. If they go to Ann Arbor and they win by a comfortable margin, and Jeremiah Smith has 3 touchdowns, oh boy, does that change the narrative. And then the week after that, if they handle their business through then, and then they go to Indianapolis, I don't know when Heisman votes are due, but it's not until after conference championship games. So then if you win the conference championship and you put up some impressive numbers in that game, then that changes the narrative quite a bit. And Byron Carter says, turn off the heat by the Big Ten championship. They're fine right now. And that's, I think, the mindset of the team and around the program right now, especially the coaching staff, where they just have to kind of keep it going. They've got to get better. It is, games like this against Wisconsin where they're a 4 or 6 something point favorite. This is it's about them game. It's this is a game where this is an opportunity for them to work on stuff and get better at stuff and give players reps, try some different schemes, try some different formations, put some stuff on film for Penn State, give Jim Knowles some stuff that he has to burn the midnight oil for the next couple of weeks.
That's a great point. Just to annoy the guy that left, double passes like. This could just be a 4th quarter of shenanigans. We're just going to do it just to do it.
They've had 3 years of going up against Jim Knowles, and what made Jim Knowles throw his McDonald's coffee cup during practice. So you're probably putting a bunch of whatever that is on film this week and just make life as unpleasant. Not that his life is going great right now, I'm sure, but make life as unpleasant for him as they can.
Operation Troll Knowles.
Yeah, and Aaron says, I know Marvin got invited with 14 touchdowns and finished 4th with an 11-1 record. So, yeah, there you go. You see how closely I follow the Heisman Trophy.
Yes.
Sorry. And, again, sorry to everyone. The Wi-Fi was really struggling.
Yeah. We're fine now.
Yeah, now we're fine.
Sure.
This is why we weren't moving. And they came right to us. I thought, oh, good, they're coming right to us.
I love this point.
Shadrack Bell says, the only fans who yell developed here don't want the players to develop. The run game and the running backs are fine and right where they need to be for right now.
That's a good point. You take so much pride in players being developed, but God forbid they take time to develop. So it's you do have to give players time. You do have to give running backs, everybody Like, look at Taiwan Malone right now. So, yes, if you want to brag about developed here, you have to give players time to develop. You have to give the scheme time to develop. So I like that, and I appreciate that for sure.
I also appreciate this from Shadow Girl. Appreciate Tom and Tony from always being on the move working. Yeah, we are up and around quite a bit, but we were over on campus earlier. I did a kind of a behind the scenes, like outside the stadium, couldn't get into the stadium, but did something on sort of the history, like Camp Randall. That's sort of a weird name for a stadium, right? So it's the oldest stadium in the Big Ten. So I did just a little bit of a little history lesson and also kind of let you see outside the stadium. We'll get a look inside the stadium. We'll get there early tomorrow and do a behind-the-scenes video there as well. But make sure you are subscribed to the channel. Take a second, hit the thumbs up right now. That would help us out. But then also make sure you are subscribed to the channel. You hit the bell so you get notified. So we'll drop that a little later on tonight, and you'll get a look at that. And then we'll have plenty of coverage for you before the game tomorrow as well. Buck Dynasty says they just got internet in Wisconsin last year. Listen, I will not listen to Wisconsin slander. I was saying to Tony, I feel like we're going on all these road trips, and I'm like, I really like this place. Like, I like the stadium. And Washington was like, oh, the setting is great. The stadium's beautiful. And the Illinois last week the stadium was like way nicer than I expected. Camp Randall is nice, but it's not like, one of the top 3 stadiums in terms of just the pure architecture of it or whatever.
It's like the offense. It's not trying to be fancy.
Yeah, it's also the oldest stadium in the conference, and it is not going to be hopping tomorrow. It is the get-in price. The last I saw was $14 for tickets. So listen, if you have not been to Wisconsin and you are the impulsive type, hop in the car. Come on up. Like you can drive partway up tonight and then finish the drive tomorrow morning and walk yourself in. It will probably cost more to park than it will to get into the stadium, and then drive back down to Rockford, Illinois, or something tomorrow. Hotels are cheap there. We found a hotel partway back home tomorrow night. So if you have thought maybe it would be fun to go to Madison. Madison is a very difficult place to not have a good time. It is a very nice city. Good town, good time, nice fans generally.
And if like I was speaking with a viewer from Chicago, and they're in here now. They paid $25 2 days ago. Like if you're in Chicago or you're a few hours drive, it's a 3:30 game.
Yeah, it's perfect. Yeah,
you can just drive up and drive back.
Yeah,
and take in a game, spend some time with some Ohio State fans, watch the team, support the Buckeyes.
Yeah, exactly. And this is a nice stadium to it's a nice stadium to see game in. It's a nice one to kind of cross out. This is an easy year to cross it off your list. Mm-hmm. So if you are the impulsive type, I think this would be a great time to do that. And if you see us, come say hi. Sue says, my fear is that when we need to really turn on the passing game, won't be able to do it because they haven't really done it yet. And yeah, that's possible, but I think you've seen enough accuracy from Julian saying that it's not a question of, what the wide receiver talent is the wide receiver talent. The quarterback talent, he's cautious, but also the accuracy is there. The arm strength is there. You kind of have all the ingredients. So, this is almost like the using tacos to explain the thunderstorm, the tornado watch versus tornado warning. Like this is a deep passing, effective passing offense watch where you have all the ingredients there. You haven't really you've seen it a little bit when Minnesota said, all right, we dare you to beat us deep. Ohio State kind of shrugged and went, yeah, okay. And then they did. I think they're going to be able to do it. The wide receiver talent is such that either you're going to have to dedicate a bunch of weapons to slowing down Jeremiah Smith and Carnell Tate, or you're probably going to give up some big plays in the passing game.
Well, and we've seen the reliance on Julian Sayin to pick up third downs. Mm-hmm. So the passing game is kind of staying warm that way, where you run twice and it's 3rd and 4, 3rd and 5, and it's like, okay, now we got to throw a quick hitch for 7 yards. Boom. Okay, now let's run it again. So at least in that way, there's a lot of pressure on what he's doing. Mm-hmm. So he does have to stay locked in because third downs are big, as you guys know. So I think that helps, but also I wouldn't mind seeing them throw the ball 30 times, 32, 34 times in a game and see what they can get out of it, because I think it'd be fun to watch since we're at the games and we'd all like to see that, but I don't know that they're necessarily worried about working on that right now, unless they would like to get other receivers involved, which also does not seem to be on their agenda right now.
Yeah, no, I don't think so. I'm just looking at the weather, the wind for tomorrow. Precipitation, not really a concern. Wind is 3 to 12 with gusts 25, but that's really much more later. It should be, the weather conditions should be fine on Saturday. So if they want to throw, they can throw. You just have to promise me if they throw, you can't say, well, that didn't count because Wisconsin's pass defense is bad. Like, yeah, it is, but that's why I think they're going to run, because they're going to work on the stuff that they need to work on. Buck Dynasty with this is evergreen life advice here. Get some poutine while you're there. Yes,
We're already running out of time.
we're going to have to find a spot. I on the bold prediction show, my free space to Tony was, my prediction was that we would eat cheese curds here. So we're going to do it. We are going to find a time.
We may just have to hit a dive somewhere on the way back. Like
A dive? Us? No, we're fancy people. That would never happen or work.
because I'm thinking like the Notre Dame trip.
Yeah.
You know, that place they had
The linebacker. That was
yeah.
the linebacker lounge.
three
which was-
different kinds of cheese curds.
Yes, that was the linebacker lounge, like walking distance from Notre Dame Stadium. And I think they probably had done something since 1950 on the interior of that place, but they had an internet-enabled jukebox. That was
That's true, that's
about
true.
all.
And I may have played some Ohio State fight songs.
David Stamp says lots of excuse making for Luke Fickell. Whose fault is it? It's a bunch of people's fault. There's administratively, they're probably not giving him the resources he needs. He made a bad choice on his first offensive coordinator hire. You know, who do you want to blame for the quarterback evaluation? Like, I don't think Billy Edwards is great, but he's better than
He's
the
not.
guy-
He doesn't exist.
He's been hurt, so I don't know. You know, you can say that's a bad eval. You can say that that's someone that they've, that's the guy they've got because they don't have the resources to
Right.
get someone better.
They could have gotten Fernando Mendoza, but
yeah,
they didn't.
right, exactly. So, and if they had Fernando Mendoza, the wide receivers are not anything spectacular, but they would be better certainly if he was healthy, which they haven't been able to keep a quarterback
but
healthy.
Fernando Mendoza at Wisconsin would be a waste of a quarterback.
Mm-hmm. Aaron says right now we're in cruise control. I kind of feel like it's almost the opposite, where if they were in cruise control, they would just kind of be doing the easy thing and propping their feet up and
This is definitely gas brake, gas brake, gas brake.
Yeah, you're like learning to drive stick right now. You're not you could be just in the left lane in automatic. You're learning how to drive a stick right now, and you're at a stop sign rolling. You're intentionally going on streets where it's like we're at a stop sign and it's a little bit uphill, and I don't really like this.
Yeah, no, I don't view this, and I understand why you would say that, because it's just kind of blah.
Yeah.
But when they rush for 120 yards and throw for 170 yards tomorrow, and they don't put up 300 yards of offense. Like, cruise control to me would be 400 yards of offense and 300 of those are passing, just like boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
So I think they're trying to get some things done, and it's not as being done as quickly or as easily as they'd like, but also they don't need it to be done quickly because this is only game 6, 7?
7, yeah. Adam Baker wants to know if both punters made the trip. I can almost guarantee you that they did. They always will bring 2 punters because if someone gets hurt, you need someone else to do it.
Right.
Well, we were over with Ryan Day as the other guys were getting off the bus, but they're always going to have multiple punters, multiple kickers, multiple long snappers, everything.
Plus, they need a translator, so one translates for the other.
Troy V says, fun fact, Heisman rhymes with Theismann. That's actually was not true until a Notre Dame SID when Joe Theismann was there. His last name was pronounced Theismann, and then he convinced Theismann to change the pronunciation of his last name to Theismann to rhyme with Heisman.
So Jeremiah Smithesman.
Yes. Let's see. Sue wants to know, does anyone give Louisville a chance to beat Miami tonight?
Why not? It's Friday. Crazy things happen.
Mm-hmm.
Louisville has done some crazy things in the past. Miami has famously choked in the past as well. Although I'll ask you guys, how much would you guys like to see Ohio State and Miami in the national championship game? And maybe throw out some score predictions that you might like to see as well. But I think it's okay to root against Miami, and then still the possibility is there that they would still meet up with Ohio State in the national championship game. I think that would be a fun game for a lot of reasons.
Yeah, it would be an interesting game. It would be a very high stakes thing because Tony and I have said some things out loud about Notre Dame over the years.
Or Miami.
That about Miami over the years.
Yes.
That I'm sure would get dug up and all that. But yeah, if that game was at Louisville, I'm picking
No,
Louisville. It's at Miami, so yeah, they're coming. Miami's had a weird schedule the last 3 weeks. They were off, then Florida State, then another week off. So does that mean they're going to come in rusty? Does that mean they're going to come in rested and excited to get back out there? I don't know. I don't know what the Louisville first half line is, but I would be tempted to hit the Louisville first half line because I think they might come out a little slow and sluggish, maybe.
Yeah, and I think that game kicks off in 30 minutes.
Okay, well, we need to go get some cheese curds between now and then, so we'll have to hurry up and get through the rest of our questions here. Wingman Ted says, are there no food trucks serving up good food and good vibes up there in Wisconsin? Sadly, no. I have not seen the Grateful Grill truck up here at all. No.
Just bad vibes and bad food. You would not believe it.
Yeah, bad food, not generally a thing here in Wisconsin. Shadrick Bell says, also remember, Heartline is developing as well in this role. Chip Kelly is a wizard. They have plays in the bag that haven't been dialed up yet. And
I believe that for sure.
That's definitely true. And I think I'm sure that Brian Hartline is getting feedback from Ryan Day after all of these games, like, hey, it's not you dummy. What's wrong with you? It's what the way he talks to Julian Sayin is, what did you see on that play? Okay, well, Brian Hartline, what did you see? It's 3rd and 6. What did you see that made you choose this play? Because the way it's not that Brian Hartline has the whole playbook. It's they go through and during the week they go, okay, here are 6 plays we feel good about on 3rd and short, 3rd and 1, 3rd and 2. Here's stuff that we feel good about in 3rd and medium, 3rd and 4 to 3rd and 6, and then 3rd and long, 3rd and 7 and to 10 or 12. And they'll kind of have a list of plays. Okay, why did you choose that play off of that list? That's the kind of feedback he's probably getting after these games.
Yeah, and Ryan Day is not like, why didn't you call the good plays? Because those are the ones that I would have done. But yeah, Ryan Day.
What do you think his Twitter burner account is?
He even said it on Tuesday that they're not really drawing up and calling up the big hitting running plays yet. So they're still working on some things. They'll put those in later on when it's truly needed. They don't need 4 60-yard runs on Saturday.
Yeah, Troy was hoping that we would know that fact. So there you go. We have won this edition of.
This is Troy V politely saying that's the joke, Tom.
Okay. Bootzilla says Miami also hasn't played a game outside of Florida yet, which is insane but true.
Yeah, and it's not all that unusual for them first part of the season.
Mm-hmm. And Golfer says, things are bad in Wisconsin when the number 1 team comes to town and tickets to be had for $17.
Yeah, do it. Get here, get to the game. You're never going to find a cheaper seat and probably a better seat because go buy a nosebleed, move on down.
Yeah, I can't imagine things are to be enforced all that strictly on Saturday, but we will be there in person to let you know.
Yeah, no, we will be, and we're planning our day tomorrow. We'll get to campus early, as you guys know. We'll have a pregame show for you. We'll have as much information on the availability reports as we can give you. So hit the thumbs up to be notified. Subscribe to the channel if you've not yet done so, and of course, check us out at BuckeyeHuddle.com after the game as well on YouTube.com/BuckeyeHuddle. We'll be doing our live show, as you know. As soon as the game ends, we'll be live. Mark Givler will be live talking about the game, and then we'll go to Brian Day. Maybe go to Luke Fickell as well. As you guys know, we cover it from all angles in the post game. So look for that as well. So thank you all for tuning in, and we'll talk to you all later.